The rain on Virix 9 didn't fall like water. It hissed. Each drop was a chemical whisper against the translucent glass of the outpost dome, acidic enough to melt exposed metal in hours, lethal to unshielded skin in minutes, the kind of rain that told you the planet never wanted to be touched. And yet, humans had come. For wealth, for science, for conquest, for all the wrong reasons. Commander Ulrich Venn stood at the eastern perimeter of Outpost Halion, helmet sealed, shoulders tense, staring through 3 inches of carbon glass at the ridge beyond where their signal had first gone dark. He didn't speak. He hadn't for hours, not since they'd lost contact. Team Echo. Sir, came a voice from behind comm. Clipped, too young for the weight it carried. Dr. Eli's ready. She wants to brief you in person. Venn turned slowly, his suits. Servo motors gave a faint hiss, like breath caught in steel lungs. Lead the way, he said. The corporal nodded and stepped ahead, boots crunching softly against the grated floor, the hum of distant generators vibrating through their bones. The air here always tasted of metal and memory. Dr. Eli waited in the subdeck lab, hunched over a console thick with alien script and pulse-embedded symbols. The lights were low, flickering slightly from the interference. Her hair was tied back, but strands had escaped like truth always did under pressure. You found something, Venn said. More statement than question. Eli didn't look up. I found them. He froze. Echo Team, no. She tapped a glowing panel, a 3D projection, shimmered into view. Tall figures, too slender, too wrong. Not Echo Team, not even human. I found the ones who took them. Venn stared at the projections. They didn't move, but the room felt colder. How long have you known? He asked. 2 days. She said softly. I needed confirmation before I told command. Or you? A silence fell, heavy, thick. You think they're still alive? Venn asked. Eli met his eyes. I think they're not the ones we should be afraid of. The perimeter alarms began to chirp 20 minutes later. Low frequency at first, background noise, then escalating, urgent. Not a breach, a signal. Venn stood over the comms console as the static cleared. A voice came through, cracked, distorted. This is Sergeant Terran, Echo Team, survivors underground trapped. It's not what we thought. Repeat, it's not what we thought. Then silence. Venn's jaw clenched. His eyes found Eli's. She looked pale beneath the harsh lights. Underground, she said. There's nothing in the scans. No caverns, no structures, nothing. Then the scans are lying. Venn growled. The expedition team deployed at dawn, beneath the wan light of Virix 9's sulfuric sun. 3 walkers, 6 troopers, 1 exodigger, and a lie, she insisted. She was the only one who could read the symbols now etched into every rock near the signal zone. They reached Ridge 7 by mid-afternoon. It loomed like a broken tooth against the toxic sky, jagged and black and older than any known tectonic activity in the sector. The soil was disturbed, not fresh, but not ancient either, like something had dug up, not down. Dig here, Venn ordered. The exodigger roared to life, tearing into the ridge. 10 minutes in, the machine screamed, not mechanically, not electronically. It screamed like a living thing. Then it stopped. Dead. The operator backed away, trembling. Sir, I don't know what happened. It just, the ground shuddered, not violently, not loud, but deliberate, like something had taken notice. Eli moved closer to the hole. Her scanner lit up with pulses, erratic, dense, complex. This is a message, she whispered. What kind of message? Venn asked. She didn't answer. She knelt, reached out, and the ground opened. They fell, not like a cave-in, Not like collapse. It was a pull. Like gravity forgot its own rules and decided to invert. The team was swallowed. Ven, Eli, 3 others vanished beneath the ridge in less than a second. Then silence. Above ground, the remaining troopers scrambled to seal the breach, but it was too late. Beneath, they woke in light. Not daylight, not artificial. It was like being submerged in liquid gold, suspended but breathing. The air was thick, humming. The walls around them were crystalline, organic, shaped like memory and pressure. Where the hell are we? Ven muttered, checking his gear. Everything worked, nothing should. Eli stood slowly. It's not a structure, it's a being. He turned to her. You're saying we're inside something alive? She nodded. Or something that used to be. From the walls, a shape emerged. Not walked, not flew. Emerged. Humanoid, tall, face shrouded in shifting fractals of color. It didn't speak. It simply raised one hand and touched Eli's chest. Not a threat, a gesture. Her eyes rolled back. She gasped. Hand collapsed. Ven caught her. What did it do? The figure vanished. No movement, no sound. Only the walls pulsing, now in sync with Eli's shallow breath. Then she woke. But it wasn't her voice. They weren't lost, she said, words thick with something alien. They were chosen. Ven stared. What's inside you? They are. The pulse of the chamber slowed. The walls, once humming with light, began to dim, shifting from golden resonance to a deep, ancient blue. The kind of color that lingered in the corners of forgotten dreams. Eli stood still, breath shallow, her pupils glowing faintly with violet streaks that didn't belong to any Terran species. Ven didn't lower his weapon. Eli, he said carefully, what do you mean? They are inside you. She blinked slowly. When she spoke again, her voice was doubled. One layer was hers, confused, human, afraid. The other was not. They were here before the stars formed constellations, she said. Before war learned to name itself. You called this planet dead, but it's a cradle. A cradle for what? Ven asked. Her gaze snapped to his, and for a moment, she wasn't a lie anymore. For the forgotten. The other 3 team members stirred behind them, motionless during the fall, but now groaning. Dazed, Lieutenant Greaves coughed, rubbing his helmeted forehead. What the hell just happened? Ven didn't answer. He couldn't. He was still, watching Eli. She walked to the nearest wall and placed a hand on it. The surface rippled beneath her touch, like glass disturbed by breath. They remember us, she said. They remember everything. Greaves stepped forward. Commander, this place is wrong. We need to extract. Now. Ven shook his head. Extraction's not an option. We were pulled in. Nothing comes out unless it's allowed. Greaves looked around. So, we ask nicely. Ven didn't. Smile. Eli turned back to them, expression unreadable. We're not prisoners, she said softly. We're testaments. We're the answer to a question they buried eons ago. And what question is that? Ven asked. Her eyes dimmed. Are you worthy of memory? The deeper they walked, the less the space obeyed logic. Walls curved into themselves, hallways branched and unbranched. Time pulsed irregularly, seconds stretching, then snapping back. The walls whispered, not words, impressions. A war, a betrayal, a species forgotten by their own creators. They were made to serve, Eli explained. Her voice, both hers and something older. Living databanks, memory engines, organic repositories of knowledge too dangerous to be left in the hands of flawed empires. Ven scowled. And what happened? They remembered everything, she said, including the lies. A panel opened beside her. Within it, suspended in a cocoon of light, floated a body, humanoid. half decayed, but its armor bore the Echo Team insignia. Sergeant Darren, still breathing. Barely. Double quotes. Oh my God. Greaves whispered, stepping forward. That's how is he even? Then raised a hand. Eli, can we get him out? She shook her head. Not yet. He's part of the weave now. If we remove him before the network permits, his brain will collapse. Greaves backed off. Then what do we do? Wait until the walls say please. Eli ignored him. Her fingers traced the glyphs on the panel beside Darren's chamber. They've shown me the root of the war, she whispered. The war on Virux? Then asked. She shook her head. No, the first war. Somewhere deeper in the structure, an impact trembled the floor. Not from outside, from within. Ven raised his rifle. What was that? Eli's face went pale. Another one woke up. Greaves frowned. Another what? But she was already running. They found it in the lower atrium. Another cocoon had ruptured. Fluid and light leaked from its shattered base, flickering like dying. Stars. The body that had emerged wasn't human. 8 feet tall, built like sculpted stone. Veins of blue light throbbed under semi-translucent skin. Its face had no eyes, only lines of shifting data that ran across its cheeks like scars. And in its hands one of Echo Team's rifles. This one learned faster, Eli whispered. The creature turned. No aggression, no fear, only assessment. It studied Ven, then Greaves, then its head tilted, and its body emitted a pulse that hit like a pressure wave. Don't move, Ven snapped, but Greaves stepped forward. Wait, it's not. The rifle fired. Not at them, at the wall behind them. A glyph burst apart in a shower of light. The creature collapsed. Ven rushed to it. It was dead. Eli dropped to her knees beside it, hand on its chest. No, she breathed. It wasn't attacking. It was trying to erase part of the memory. Why? Ven asked. Because it remembered something it wasn't supposed to. She looked up, eyes wide. These aren't just databanks. They're prisoners, back in the central chamber. The walls were pulsing faster, angrier. Lines of alien script scrolled across the surface like blood flowing backward. I thought they were caretakers, Eli said. Pacing, vessels of knowledge. But they're not. They were designed to forget. When they failed, they were sealed inside their own minds. Greaves looked horrified. You mean, this whole place is a tomb? No, she said. A vault. But it's breaking down. Another tremor rocked the floor. This one stronger. Ven steadied himself. What happens if the vault fails? Eli turned to him slowly. Then all of it leaks. The history, the technology, the rage, every truth the galaxy thought it buried. They had ours. Maybe less. Eli stood over Darren's pod again, hands trembling. I can get him out now, she said. But I need you to be ready. For what? Ven asked. For it to remember through him. The extraction was surgical. Glyphs unsealed. Light retracted. Fluid drained. Ven lifted Darren from the pod. His eyes fluttered open white, then blue, then black. Commander, he rasped. Ven nodded. You're safe, Sergeant. Darren screamed. Not pain, not fear. It was the scream of a man watching his own mind fracture under the weight of memory, not his own. Eli slammed her hand on a console. A field activated. The scream stopped. Darren passed out. Did it work? Ven asked. Eli didn't answer at first. Then, yes and no. She turned toward him. Now the vault sees us. All of us. From above footsteps. Dozens. Troopers. Terran. Command had traced the signal. Ven looked up. How the hell? I left a marker, Eli said. In case we didn't make it. Greaves blinked. You called reinforcements? No, she said. I called witnesses. The chamber's ceiling cracked open. A lift descended. Terran brass, officers in polished suits, scientists, drones. One of them stepped forward. Director Hal's Special Intelligence Division. Eli, he said curtly, you've caused quite a stir. I tend to, she replied coldly. He turned to Ven. Commander, what you've discovered here, this entire complex is now under Terran authority. Ven stared at him. It's not a thing you can own. It's knowledge, and knowledge is power. I assume you've secured it. Eli stepped between them. This isn't power. It's a mirror, one you may not survive looking into. Let me worry about that, Hal said. Just tell me, is it stable? Behind them, the chamber groaned. No, Eli said, and the lights went red. The vault was waking. Not just remembering, not just reacting. Choosing. From the walls, shapes began to form, silhouettes in light. Tall, angular, countless. Somewhere beneath them, a sound began, low, harmonic, like the start of a song long forgotten. What is that? House demanded. Eli whispered, it's asking who we are. There's a sound only the guilty can hear. It doesn't come from outside, not footsteps, not engines, not weapons. It comes from inside the bones, a frequency tuned to fear, to truth. The vault was singing it now. Low, harmonic, dissonant. Commander, Ven felt it vibrating through the soles of his boots, rising up his spine. Each note twisted into the next like a question left unanswered. Beside him, Eli stood still, eyes closed, lips parted in something between reverence and horror. They're not testing us, she whispered. Ven glanced at her. What do you mean? Her voice trembled. They're remembering us. Director House tapped his communicator. Dispatch second wave full retrieval team. We're initiating extraction and preservation protocols now. No, Eli snapped. You can't take anything. House didn't even look at her. Doctor, I'm not here to negotiate with you. She stepped forward. You don't understand. This vault is sentient. Every piece of it is alive. If you try to dissect it, it will defend itself. The lights flickered red. As if to agree. House smirked. Then we'll dissect it faster. The walls changed. Not physically. Not at first. But the color, the pulse, it all shifted. From golden, to blood red, to black. Symbols flared across the walls, jagged and fractured. Not language, not warning. Memory. Greaves stumbled back. Sir, what are we seeing? They played like holograms, flickering, violet, a galaxy burning, ships torn apart in silence, entire planets sacrificed not for power but for convenience, to erase mistakes. Eli dropped to her knees. They weren't just forgotten, she whispered. They were buried by us, or something like us. The vault had no voice, not one mouth. But now it's spoken, all of them, first through Eli, then through Terran, then through the walls. You are descendants of the ones who silenced us, it said. You are the children of ignorance. You wear the armor of arrogance. Ven stepped forward, steady. We're not here to harm you. You already have, the voice replied. You did not come seeking memory. You came seeking weapons. House sneered. We came seeking answers. Then answer this, the vault said. Why do you erase what you fear? The floor beneath them cracked subtly, like a vein splitting beneath skin. The entire vault shuddered. Then silence. For a moment, nothing moved. Then one of the troopers behind House opened fire. A single round. Into the wall. It didn't ricochet. It was absorbed. And the vault responded. The trooper's body folded inward, screaming not in pain, but confusion. Like reality itself forgot the shape of him. Then he vanished. Gone. Ven raised his rifle. Everyone stand down. But it was too late. From the shadows, forms began to emerge. Tall, thin, angular, composed of memory and metal. The Guardians, the original wardens, Eli breathed. They kept the knowledge inside, and now they think, we're trying to steal it. Panic erupted. Terran officers scattered, troopers fired. The air filled with streaks of plasma and screams. But the Guardians didn't fall. They didn't dodge. They didn't even retaliate directly. They corrected. One by one, soldiers flickered, twisted, vanished, removed from the timeline, like edits in a story rewritten on the fly. Commander, Greaves shouted, pulling Ven behind a memory pillar. We're outgunned, outmatched, we need to get out. Ven scanned the field. Where's Eli? She wasn't hiding. She was walking straight into the fire. Eli, he roared. But she didn't stop. Her steps were calm. Her eyes glowing now with lines of alien light stayed locked on the central monolith in the chamber. The heart of the vault. She raised both hands. I remember, she said. The world stopped. Literally. The motion in the chamber froze. Bullets hung in the air. A trooper mid-scream hovered like a statue. Light dimmed, but did not vanish. And in that stillness something ancient stepped through Eli's skin. She began to speak, not with sound, with memory. They were a race once called the Caliph, not conquerors, not warriors, archivists. They cataloged every age of the galaxy, not for glory, not for leverage, for truth. They stored it all inside living vaults, organic memory, palaces grown beneath the crust of chosen planets. But when the truth they preserved became inconvenient to their clients, when it revealed war crimes, false peace treaties, genocides hidden by redacted history, the Caliph were labeled a threat and systematically erased. Only a few survived, merged with the vaults they once tended, sleeping, waiting, until someone worthy arrived, and Eli had been chosen as the first key. The Guardians stood still now, not neutral, not hostile. Watching. He rose to his feet, coughing. What the hell are you? Eli turned to him. I am proof of what you've tried to forget. You're infected. He spat. You've let yourself be manipulated by alien code. She smiled bitterly. Then maybe that code is more human than you. He raised his weapon, and Ven stepped between them. She's not the threat, he growled. Hals's lip curled. Get out of my way, Commander. No, Ven said. This isn't your operation anymore. Hals pulled the trigger. The gun didn't fire. It dissolved in his hand. The Guardians moved finally, but not toward Eli, not toward Ven. They moved toward the monolith. It cracked open, and from inside, something floated out. A sphere. Black, glossy, pulsing, a memory core. Eli caught it gently. It holds the original war records, she said. Proof of the empires that built and broke the galaxy. Ven stared. And you're going to give it to Command? She shook her head. I'm going to give it to everyone. Back at Outpost Halion, chaos bloomed. Signal bursts spread from the ridge, untraceable, undeniable. The Caliph vault had transmitted, not just locally, not just system-wide, but galaxy-wide. And in every major capital and every council chamber and corporate war room, images began to play, records long thought, lost, weapons used in violation of treaties, biological experiments buried beneath colonies, entire planets erased from star charts. History had come home, unedited, unforgiving. 2 days later, the outpost was in ruins. Not from fighting, from abandonment. No one wanted to be near the vault anymore. Not even the opportunists. The truth was toxic now, a contagion. But a lie remained, and so did Ven. Greaves was gone evacuated to relay what he'd seen. And House. He vanished, whether killed by the Guardians or vanished by his own people, no one knew. Eli stood at the edge of the ridge, the vault sealed behind her, humming faintly in approval. Ven approached, wordless. She turned to him. "They'll come for us," she said. He nodded. "Let them. They'll say we disrupted galactic order." He smirked. Maybe the galaxy needed disrupting. She held the memory core out to him. "You want this?" He took it, turned it in his hands. It felt heavy, not in mass. And meaning. "What now?" he asked. She smiled. "Now we make sure no one forgets again." A single transmission cracked the galaxy's spine. It didn't come with declarations. No fleets followed, no banners, just truth. Raw, unfiltered, ancient. The memory core had done what no warlord ever could: united enemies in silent, shivering panic. Empires trembled. Syndicates blacked out their comms. Entire systems shut down data relays in a futile attempt to keep the truth from spreading. But you cannot unsee what has been remembered. And while the core spun in Ven's hands like a sleeping god, another truth began to stir beneath an entirely different sky. Planet Zathriate was dead by every known standard. No biosigns, no magnetic field, no resources worth mining. A place deemed sterile by surveyors, exiled by cartographers, and ignored by fate. But 11 levels below its obsidian crust, something breathed. Not oxygen, not gas. Memory. Old, rotten with time, and hungry. The vault on Kareth had been a cradle. This one was a cage. It had no guardians, no harmony, only silence. The kind that hums right before a scream. It did not wake like Kareth's vault had. It leaked through cracks in psychic barriers, through the dreams of passing ships, through the madness of an assassin named Vale. Vale had once belonged to the elite Larithian shades, an order of spies bred to erase problems before they drew attention. No homeworld, no name beyond rank, just contracts. And the new contract was clear: Eli Tenvir, terminate. Do not retrieve the memory core. Do not speak to the Guardian. Do not allow her to breathe another day. Vale didn't ask why. She didn't care. But something about the name Eli scratched at her, like a word she'd once known before she was rewritten by duty. And every night, her dreams showed her a vault, not Kareth's, the other one. She'd never seen it, never touched it, and yet it whispered, "Come home." Meanwhile, on the neutral outpost now orbiting Kareth, Eli and Ven prepared to vanish. Again. They stood on a freighter disguised as a cargo hauler, unregistered, sleek, scarred by dozens of old identities. "You're sure this is the best way?" Ven asked. Eli turned, zipping up her pressure jacket. "There's no best way, only unseen ways." He handed her the core, now sealed in a memory stasis box. "We keep moving until it's ready," she replied. Ven frowned. "What is it?" Eli hesitated. "Then, the galaxy's second chance. They left without fanfare. No late trails, no signatures, no goodbyes. Only static. But within 2 hours, 5 factions have already placed kill orders on their names, and one agent had already landed on their trail." Vale didn't speak much, even to herself, but when she did, her voice was sharp, like glass-cutting wind. She traced the couple's signal through old Terran outposts, caught their dust trails in the mining rings of Orisix, followed faint registry fragments buried in stolen docking codes on Traxxas station. And still they eluded her. It wasn't just skill. It was something deeper. Each time she drew close, her dreams changed. The vault on Zathriate showed her images A man with a scar over his eye holding the core. A woman lit by silver light, eyes glowing with half-forgotten language. And sometimes, a child. But that couldn't be. Eli had no child. Not yet. On the freighter, Eli began to cough again. Sharp, dry, unrelenting. Ven poured her water, eyes scanning her vitals. You said the bonding with the vault wouldn't hurt you. It didn't, she rasped. But this is something else. Something else like what? She looked up slowly. I think I'm carrying it. He stilled. Carrying what? Not a child. She whispered, not yet, but something else, a seed from the vault, from Kareth. He stepped back. Is it dangerous? I don't know. She said, it feels like a question, growing. 3 days later, they reached Station Oria's, an abandoned medical bay in the asteroid belt of Clan Space. Here, Eli hooked into the stasis core again. But what she saw wasn't Kareth's memories. It was Zatra-8. The second vault. Buried. Burning. Crawling with echoes that didn't just remember. They hated. Something's wrong, she said. Ven leaned in. You've been saying that since the jump. No, I mean something is hunting us, but not just to stop us. He frowned. Then what? To take the vault back. Vale reached the station 22 hours later. She killed for scavengers on her way in. Silently. Not out of cruelty. Out of efficiency. She traced their heat signatures to the old med bay. Closed the gap with speed no normal human could match. But when she breached the door, they weren't there. Only AHOLO log. Playing. A message from Eli. You were always good at finding us, Vale. The assassin froze. How did she? Zathra's calling you. I know. Because it called me once. Before I chose Kareth instead. The lights flickered. It will offer you answers. But it will cost you your name, again. Vel's breath caught. If you want to kill me, come find me. But be ready, because the vaults remember you too. The feed ended, and Vale, for the first time in years, felt something like dread. 2 days later, Vale stood on the cracked obsidian skin of Zatra-8. The wind here didn't blow. It groaned. And beneath her feet, a heartbeat. Not hers, not the planet's, the vault. She opened her hand. Inside it, an old fragment of memory data, sliver of tech pulled from a child's corpse on Virax. Decades ago. It pulsed. And the vault opened. Not with reverence, not with awe, but with hunger. Below the surface, Zathra's vault wasn't sleek. It was wounded. Its walls oozed memory like blood. Its guardians weren't graceful like Kareth's. They were broken, reconstructed, half corpse, half code. They didn't test her. They recognized her. Vale, daughter of erasure, weapon of the forgetting. You returned to the wound you made. She didn't speak, but her heart was screaming. Then a shape emerged, formless, at first, then bipedal. An echo of her former mentor. You are not here to kill Eli, it said. You are here to remember why you were made. She raised her blade. The shape didn't flinch. It only said, you were the first key. She is only the second. And Vel's mind broke open. Back aboard the freighter, Eli sat up with a scream. Blood from her nose, hands trembling. Then rushed in. What is it? She looked up, horrified. The second vault. It's awake. And it found its weapon. There are wars fought for land, for power, for pride. But this war was for memory. And memory does not forget. The second vault. Zathra was no longer dormant. It had become a wound torn open in the side of the galaxy. And from that wound, something worse than rage began to spread. But not like Kareth's. This was not healing. This was overwriting. Vale was its blade. No longer assassin. No longer woman. She now moved with the weight of forgotten genocides pulsing through her veins, her mind wired to the archive like a living weapon. The vault had rewritten her past, removed every illusion of loyalty, and in its place, it had left only one directive: erase the lie. That lie was Kareth. And Eli Tanvir. On board their freighter, Eli convulsed against the med chair, then held her arms as the light from the core spiraled around her like a cyclone. She wasn't dying. She was transforming. This is the seed. She gasped. It's sprouting. The memory core floated beside her now, rotating in slow, sacred rhythm. It's not just remembering anymore, she whispered. It's defending itself. From what? Ven demanded. She looked up, eyes now glowing violet white. From her veil breached orbit above the dead moon Araxel, where Eli and Ven had taken refuge. She didn't come alone. The second vault had sent its proxies, dozens of restructured guardians, purifiers cold and angular, wrapped in armor made from obsidian and data. Their purpose was clear. Kareth had released truth. Zafra would bury it again beneath silence. Ven stood on the icy platform outside the outpost with a rail cannon in one hand and a plasma blade on his back. He had fought insurgents. He had stormed bunkers on fire worlds. But nothing compared to what was coming. They'll land in 11 minutes, Eli said, stepping beside him. She no longer moved like a woman. She moved like Kareth itself. The memory core hovered at her shoulder. You should leave, she told him. He laughed. I've heard that before. I mean it this time. He turned to her, gently resting his forehead against hers. Then say goodbye now, because I won't be saying it later. The purifiers descended like black needles dropped from a god's hand. The snow melted beneath them, not from heat, but from memory reversed. Time itself twisted in a radius around them. Plants wilted in reverse. Buildings aged backward. Reality unfolded, and at the center, Veil emerged. Eyes pitch black, skin laced with fractal silver lines. She no longer blinked. She synchronized. Eli Tanvir, she called. Her voice echoed. In every direction, even in the bones, you have corrupted the archive. Surrender. Eli stepped forward, her own guardians materializing from the shadows, slender, pale, calm. The archive is not yours to cleanse. You gave it emotion. Veil snarled. No, Eli said. I gave it choice. The battle began without a signal, just movement. The snow exploded as two memory-forged legions clashed in silence, blades made of condensed history, shields built from ancient regrets. Then moved like lightning between the chaos, cutting down. A purifier with every breath. Each strike didn't kill. It rewrote. They didn't bleed. They glitched, shimmered, disintegrated into corrupted echoes. But Veil didn't glitch. She advanced through the storm with no fear, no urgency, just purpose. Eli met her halfway on the shattered bridge over Araxel's old power core. They didn't speak. They remembered. Veil struck first, a pulse of blacklight that distorted Eli's form mid-step. But Kareth's seed reacted. It bent light around her. She phased between moments. Her counter-strike was not physical. It was a download of grief, thousands of voices crying out from the archives she protected. Veil staggered. Her weapon flickered. For a moment, she was human again. Eli, she whispered. I was like you. You still are, Eli said. Choose now. But the second vault intervened. It overwrote Vel's hesitation, and the assassin screamed not in rage but in resistance. Ven watched from below. The battle above wasn't a duel. It was a war between futures. On the bridge, Eli poured everything into the memory core, releasing its final defense. Not guardians, not shields, but a remembrance cascade. The truth was no longer just stored. It was broadcast to every ship, planet, outpost, AI, priest, and pirate. Every being connected to the interstellar mesh was now flooded with genocide records from the Illyrian Purge, peace treaties forged on false AI surrender, entire bloodlines hidden behind manipulated archives. Even Vale saw her own training. Simulations revealed for what they were, not loyalty, but brainwashing. She screamed, dropped her blade. The purifiers froze mid-strike. The second vault hissed through her. You have failed. You are no longer the weapon. Vale collapsed, but she was not dead. She was free. The second vault attempted one final act, a signal pulse strong enough to delete the Kareth memory. Cascade, but Ven, already inside the old Araxo core, made his move. He triggered a magnetic burst and overload so massive it would short the broadcast war between vaults. A suicide play. Eli, he whispered through comms, you need to finish it. You need to outlive me. Her voice cracked. Ven, don't you dare. I'm not a hero, he said. Just a soldier with a choice. But before he could press the trigger, Vale arrived, eyes clear, weapon gone. She touched the console, absorbing the pulse into herself. No one else dies, she said. The vault within her howled. Then it broke. The second vault collapsed inward, folding like a dying star. Its data bled into Vel's skin and then vanished. Silence returned to Araxo. But this silence was different. Not dread, not memory, but peace. Eli ran to where Vale had fallen. Ven stood beside her, bruised, burned but alive. Vale looked up at them both. Her voice was barely audible. I was born from erasure. Now I choose remembrance. Then her eyes closed, and the final guardian of Zathriate was gone. Weeks later, the memory core from Kareth was no longer a secret. It was an archive. Open-source. Unfiltered. Billions accessed it. Millions wept. And slowly, old wars dimmed. Old lies died. Not because truth is easy, but because once it is shared, it cannot be killed. Eli and Ven never returned to the stations. They lived on Araxo, building new code from the wreckage, planting archives not in bunkers, but in classrooms. Years later, a child ran through the snows of Araxo. Skin olive, eyes silver, laughter unburdened. He wore no crest, no flag, only a memory ring around his neck, holding the stories of 1,000 fallen civilizations. His name was Vael. And the stars watched, still, quiet, but no longer indifferent, because now they remembered, too.